Okay, everybody, so we're going to go a little bit more in depth with some of these transformations slash translations, because what I was seeing from the first round of problems is that people understood how to shift things left, right, up, down, and flip on the axes, but a lot of people were not being specific with their pictures. And part of that is my fault, because in the first video I just kind of showed how they shifted and I just moved the whole image. Well, you don't have that capability to just copy and paste and move. So what I'm going to do is, let's talk a little bit more about the actual point on the function and moving those points. So for instance, here is a function, there are 4 points. As I take that function, I ask myself, how does the graph change if that function becomes h of x minus 3 with the minus 3 on the inside of the parentheses? So you first have to ask yourself, what does a minus 3 do when it's on the inside of the parentheses? And the answer to that is that it moves every point to the right 3. Now what I want you to get in the habit of doing so that we get pictures that are similar, if not exact, to our originals, is instead of just taking this whole thing and shifting it 3 to the right, let's move each point to the right 3. Okay? So I'm going to start down here with the point 6, negative 9. I'm going to move that to the right 1, 2, 3. Okay? I'm going to take the point 4, 2, move that to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do the same with the other 2 points. So now I kind of have these pieces that, these points that are on the function that I can use as I draw my new figure. Now I also want to label these new points. Okay? So essentially when you think about moving left and right, you're moving on the x-axis. So since we're moving on the x-axis, then we are moving the x value to the right 3. So this point down here, bottom right, if I just add 3 to the x value, notice this becomes the point 9, negative 9. I didn't move up or down at all, so that negative 9 stays, but the positive 6 becomes positive 9. This point up here becomes 7, 2, because I'm adding 3 to the x. This becomes 0, 2, because I'm adding 3 to the x. This becomes negative 2, negative 3, because I'm adding 3 to the x. And now I'm able to just go ahead and draw my new function. This goes down here. This goes down here. And this one goes across here. Whoops. Kind of missed on that one. Alright. So, the point is this. You can't just kind of randomly draw a new picture that kind of looks like the first one shifted to the right 3. You actually need to grab the points and do it that way. Okay? Now when we talk about going with the plus 2 on the outside, plus 2 on the outside of the parentheses means we're going up 2. So every one of these points I'm going to shift up 2, which isn't a huge translation, but it is still a translation. And when I name these now, going up 2 is dealing with y values. Okay, so my x values are going to stay the same. My x value down here is still 6. But my y value went up 2, that becomes a negative 7. This 4 is going to stay the same, but the 2 goes up 2. Alright, so as you're changing left and right, you change your x's. As you change your up and down, you're changing your y's. Negative 5, negative 1. And then you go ahead and draw your picture. Alright. Last couple here. So then we had our reflecting over the y, reflecting over the x. So when the negative sign is in front of the function, like in our first case, this is a flip of the x-axis. And when that negative is on the inside of the function, that's a flip on the y. So what we mean by that, let's look at the first one. When we're going to flip up the x-axis, essentially each of our points, here's our x-axis, each of our points needs to stay on the same y coordinate line, but needs to flip to the other side of the x-axis. So for instance, this point negative 3, 2 needs to come down here exactly 2 units down from the axis. 4, 2 is going to flip down here exactly 2 units from the axis. The point 6, negative 9 now needs to flip up here and needs to be 9 units from the axis on the other side. And the point negative 5, negative 3 is going to flip up to here, and that's going to become the point negative 5, 3. So you have negative 5, 3, you have negative 3, negative 2, you have 6, 9, and you also have 4, negative 2. So you might be able to tell here that the only thing happening with the points is that all of the y values are changing from negative to positive or vice versa. Reason being, we're flipping over the x-axis, so all of our y values are changing. So now let's go ahead and let's draw our picture. Connect the dots here. This is going up here. This is going through here. And then we have the one connecting here. And you can see that our picture now has flipped over the x-axis. Same thing over here with the y's. The only thing different is that now when we flip our points, we're flipping over the y-axis. So all of our x values are going to change to the other side. So for instance, 6, negative 9 is going to become negative 6, negative 9. Negative 5, 3 is going to become 5, negative 3. Negative 3, 2 is going to become 3, 2. And 4, 2 is going to become negative 4, 2. Okay? Now when we connect our lines, we'll see that this thing actually reflects right over that axis. So connect here, connect those, connect there. So now this thing just flips over the y-axis. So make sure that you label your points. Points are important. We're going to talk more about tables later.